Rome, an ordinary day. Senators talking, the people circulating, no screaming, no warning. But there are only 10 minutes left before the assassination of Julius Caesar. In this video, you won't see the attack. You'll enter Rome right before it does, in this historical reenactment when everything still seemed normal, and no one imagined that history was about to bleed. Stay, because understanding those 10 minutes changes everything. Rome, an ordinary day, senators talking, the people circulating, no screaming, no warning. But there are only 10 minutes left before the assassination of Julius Caesar. In this video, you won't see the attack. You'll enter Rome right before it does, in this historical reenactment, when everything still seemed normal, and no one imagined that history was about to bleed. Stay, because understanding those 10 minutes changes everything. As the morning progresses, Rome continues to function with the precision of always. At first glance, nothing has changed since the early hours of the day. But if one observed more closely, with that suspicious look that only time teaches, one would notice small cracks in normality. They are not screams. These are not open discussions. These are almost imperceptible details. Within the spaces of power, the tone of the conversations is more contained. Senators gather in small groups, speak quietly, interrupt sentences in the middle, as if certain words should not be said out loud. There are laughs too, fast, too forced. There are greetings that last less than usual, rehearsed gestures that try to look natural. None of this in isolation would seem suspicious. In Roman politics, tension is routine. Rivalry is the rule. Ambition circulates freely through the corridors. What makes this moment different is the silent sum of these signs. Some avoid looking directly into the eyes. Others keep their hands restless, fiddling with rings, adjusting cloaks, repeating movements without realizing it. There are those who talk too much, as if trying to fill an uncomfortable void. There are those who say too little, as if any word could betray something bigger. And yet, everything remains within the appearance of normality. This is the kind of atmosphere that is only understood after everything is over. Before that, it is confused with everyday life. Danger, here, does not present itself as a threat. It presents itself as convenience, as a tacit agreement, as something that needs to be done, but not said. Meanwhile, Caesar continues to move towards the meeting. He is surrounded by familiar faces, men with whom he has shared decisions, strategies, victories. They are not strangers. They are not declared enemies. They are part of the same system that put you where you are. And perhaps this is exactly why no alarm bells sound. Trust at this point is not naivety, it's habit. It is to believe that the political game follows its unwritten rules. It is to assume that, even with tension, everything will be resolved as it has always been, with speeches, votes, maneuvers. The most disturbing thing about these minutes is that the signs are there, but they are not clear enough to interrupt the flow of the day. They hide in pauses that are too long, in sentences that are not completed, in silences that no one questions. Rome, as a city, sees nothing, and who could see, choose not to see. This is the psychological weight of this instant, when the danger does not come from outside, but grows from within, camouflaged as normality, protected by routine and excessive confidence. The minutes continue to pass, and every second that moves forward makes it impossible to turn back, even if no one knows it yet. Now, time seems to behave in a strange way. It doesn't run, it doesn't accelerate, just squeeze, as if each second carried more weight than the last, even without anyone noticing. Caesar moves on. His footsteps echo through the space leading up to the meeting, a dry, rhythmic sound, too ordinary to carry any foreboding. He doesn't look back. There is no reason for this. The agenda of the day is clear. The meeting is expected. It's all part of Rome's political machinery. All around, the faces are familiar. Men who have been by your side in difficult decisions. Others who have already disagreed, but always within the unwritten rules of power. There is no open hostility. There is no explicit tension. Danger, when it exists, is well trained not to look like danger. This is where the silence becomes almost physical. It is not the absence of sound. Rome is still alive, breathing, murmuring. It is an absence of alert. Caesar crosses eyes. Some stray too quickly. Others remain a second longer than normal. There are formal greetings, measured words, correct gestures. Everything seems too correct. And yet nothing exceeds the limit of what is acceptable. Nothing is enough to interrupt the natural flow of events. These are the last minutes in which history can still be confused with routine. The meeting place appears in front, a space that has already witnessed passionate speeches, verbal confrontations, unlikely alliances, a place where Rome's future has been shaped countless times, and always under the illusion of control. Outside, the city remains oblivious. The people do not feel the weight of what is about to happen. Children run among adults. A merchant discusses values. A citizen complains about taxes. Life follows its normal course, completely indifferent to the fact that it is living its last minutes of political innocence. This contrast is brutal when observed with historical distance. While irreversible decisions await in silence, the city behaves as if tomorrow were guaranteed. Caesar crosses the threshold of space where everything will change. There is still no rupture. There is still no violence. There is only presence, breathing, contained expectation. He is still the most powerful man in Rome. It still carries authority. He still walks without fear. But the point of return was behind a few steps before, and no one announced it. This is the instant that defines the micro-theme 10 minutes before. Not the moment of shock, not the instant of impact, but the last second when everything still seems normal, even if it is no longer normal. When that door closes behind him, Rome doesn't realize that something essential is about to be torn from his story. There is no mourning yet. There is no panic. There is no awareness of what is about to happen. There is only silence, a dense silence, loaded with hidden decisions, with intentions that do not go back, with a future that has already been written without the city having a chance to react. And that's exactly why this moment haunts to this day, because history does not change with clear warnings. It changes while everyone believes that nothing will change. If you've stayed this far, it's because those minutes before the story changed also hooked you. This silence, this deceptive normality, say much more about Rome and about power than the outcome itself. If this type of historical recreation, done calmly, deeply, and with respect for details, makes sense to you, it is worth subscribing to the channel. That's how this content continues to exist, and getting more and more accurate, more immersive. If you want, leave a comment saying something simple like, "I made it to the end," or which detail of these last few minutes caught your attention the most. I read everything, and it helps keep that conversation alive. And if at some point in the video you felt like you were there, walking through Rome, one like says it all. It's a small gesture, but it strengthens this connection that we built here. There is a video here on the side that complements this subject. Click and stay with me there.